Hello, so I'm going to try to do a video presentation for week 4's assignment for EDU 677, Monitor and Evaluate Curriculum and Instruction Systems Thinking. Instructor is Kimberly Smith. Today's date is November the 25th. It is approximately 20 till 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So today we're going to be talking about a PLC presentation. My scenario laid out is I'm going to be conducting a training to inform my PLC team teachers that are still using primarily traditional assessments to test and assess students. So hopefully throughout a training like this, a video like this, or maybe a more thorough PowerPoint, something along those lines, can educate the PLC team teachers to help differentiate the classroom and their learning styles and their teaching styles, and hopefully get a better overall response from the students. And I think that's, when you're talking about what it means to change the outcome of a lesson, that's the outcome of the lesson is, you know, that it's excuse me. The outcome of the lesson is how well the students learn the material, the product. So whether it's through testing, whether it's through a portfolio assessment, or whether it's through some type of project or a summative piece of work, artwork, music work, whatever it may be, whatever the students need best, to be able to change the outcome of a lesson is huge, especially for a differentiated classroom. Because what may start out with a simple lesson plan on, say, the Battle of Gettysburg, may translate into a much more meaningful lesson on the different class systems and how socioeconomic factors are affecting the education levels in schools today. You just don't know where the lesson can take you, and it can take you these different places, these different connections that you never think of when you're putting these lessons together. And that's the whole point, and that's why it's important to be able to change outcomes of lessons and be able to be flexible and to have different entry points. When you're looking at different entry points, um, there's all kinds of things you can look at. There's the aesthetic window. Um, it's where learners respond to different, um, say, a piece of art, for example. Um, they might look at the color, um, the the lines within the piece of art, the composition of the painting, the actual texture of it. Another entry point could be that a narrative window. They respond to the narrational elements of these different pieces, and the story behind it. What's behind it? How did this come? Was it a sequence of events? What was the story told behind this act happening? And you're looking at the students with the more logical entry point, where they're learning to use their reasoning skills, or maybe they're math students, so they're very good at science, math. They want to be able to see the proofs behind these things. They want to be able to know. They want to be able to explain why these things are important. And then there's the foundational. It's an entry point where they respond. They look at things through the broad scope. They don't look at things on the fine point level. Um, a fine example of this would be like using Google Maps versus Google Earth. Google Earth is a very broad view. You're not going to use Google Earth to get to dinner one night. You're going to use Google Maps. So looking at foundational type of entry point, you're going to be looking at the very broad view. And then there's an entry point where they respond to um, actually doing something with the lesson. Doing it with their hands, doing a project, taking taking some materials, using a piece of work of art, um, producing a play, writing a poem, composing a song, even things of this nature. That's where an entry point like that could be very effective for these different students. Now, with regards to the exit points, and some of the strategies that can be used there. Um, you're looking at a bunch of different opportunities for students to um, to express themselves, and this ties into changing the outcome of the lesson. So you're going to be looking at ways that students can test themselves and demonstrate their knowledge of what they've learned. Um, I'm flipping through my book right now to get to the exact part. Um, but according to Fogarty, you're looking at the different types of people. There's the word smart, logic smart, art smart, nature smart, self smart, people smart, music smart, and it kind of ties in. You can do go. It can be the exact same as the entry point if that's what the student wants, but the goal here is to give them options. So if you need someone that's going to demonstrate their knowledge by getting up and giving a speech, or if it's going to be more like um, a test. Some people prefer tests, the assessments. I want to be able to demonstrate my knowledge by answering questions you've prepared for me. Whether it's people smart, where you need to organize a group of people to complete a project demonstrating this thing. Not everybody was good at the art part of it, but a lot of people are good at the leadership part of it, which is just as important as being able to demonstrate the knowledge, because then they're looking at those broad strokes. They're looking at the Google Earth aspect of demonstrate that knowledge, and they can pass that on to each person within their own unique niche of the whole entire project, the whole of it. So that's a way to demonstrate it as well. Um, and there's the body people that just want to get out and express themselves and do something. They want to do something. They want to take it in. They want to say, okay, hey, I learned about this Battle of Gettysburg. Now I want to go visit that site and take it in and put something tangible, take something tangible from this lesson and see what happens. So you know, just because you provide the students with an entry point doesn't mean it has to exit the same way. The whole goal of it, this entry and exit points of having differentiated instruction and differentiated modalities of learning, it ties back to the multiple intelligences. But these students aren't going to know what they prefer, how they learn best, how they demonstrate that knowledge best, unless you provide that for them. So that's the whole goal. Um, and the exit point ties into the assessments. When you're looking at a balanced approach to assessments, um, something along these lines, and when you're trying to change those outcomes and you're given all these different opportunities, you still have to provide students with some type of structure. They still need that structure. You can't just give them a free for all. But by giving these different entry and exit points, it allows them to explore different ways in which they feel the most comfortable, like our assignment that we're doing right now. I feel more comfortable getting up and talking about it. I think I feel confident in my ability to express myself through a video and demonstrate the knowledge that I learned by reading this chapter and watching these videos this week and doing the discussion questions, that I feel confident in talking about it. I also prefer writing. I like that too, but I'm not very comfortable doing a PowerPoint. I think it's boring to me, so I think it would come across as boring if I put it together for you as well. Um, Last and not least, the performance assessment can support student learning in many different ways. First and foremost, I've already mentioned numerous times, it allows them to explore and new and exciting avenues for them to be able to learn and grasp a concept and demonstrate that knowledge. Secondly, it exposes them to different knowledges that they might not have come across previously. They might not know that they really related to the musical aspect of a lesson and being able to demonstrate their knowledge through music. Maybe they didn't think that was possible. And then, it could be his students, they testing, assessment testing, a standardized test is the best way for them to demonstrate that knowledge. Um, Thirdly, um, a performance assessment that these are for all grade levels, at least the first two. Thirdly, but if you're looking for something for the people that need the tangible things, you could do something along the lines of, say, this is tying back to the Gettysburg lesson. So a high school team could go and do an online tour if you're not close enough. So go ahead and do an online tour of the Battle of Gettysburg. You go Google Earth again. Pull it up in front of the class and do a whole presentation on it. Zoom in and look around, and you get the satellite view. You can see the battlefields. You can put a presentation together where it shows different lines of the battle and time periods and the lines advancing and retreating and see how that looks visually for people. Um, so that was three. Fourth, another performance assessment that can be used for various subjects in a particular grade level. Um, I mean, just doing something like this, doing a YouTube video, putting yourself out there that way. Maybe you're not comfortable in front of the whole class. Maybe you feel comfortable talking, but just not standing up behind a podium in front of the whole class and seeing everybody just kind of sitting there with their heads down and not paying attention. And you feel like you have something important to say and you'll say it well. So you get online and you do it this way and you present it and it just goes to your teacher, they watch it and they look at it that way and they can give you some encouragement and say, that's really good, maybe do this, maybe do that. And I think it'd be more beneficial to do it in front of the audience and get some give and take, and that could help somebody too. Um, Last and not least, performance assessment can support student learning just by I think I said it already. It might have been the first one. I might be repeating myself, but it really goes back to making sure these students know they have options. The end goal is to improve education and put out a product which is the student that was better than when they came in. So by doing these performance assessments in whatever way that you feel you're comfortable in grading and you have a good outline, you have a good grasp and understanding of being able to give these kids options is going to, it's going to make them more excited um, about learning this, right? Um, you know, these different points of entry, these different entry points, they're going to be effective for so many different students in so many different ways that it's going to make them excited about learning, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to make these kids want to learn things, and that's the whole goal. And if it takes sorting through 15 bad poems, five kind of sketchy, not sketchy, but so YouTube videos, um, four amazing PowerPoint presentations that probably had some parental influence, and one person that wants to do a standardized written essay test or short answer quiz. That's what you got to do because it's all about the kids, and you need to make them know that their voice is heard and their opinion matters, and how they learn best is they need to know that because that's how they're going to succeed later on in life. And that's the whole goal, especially for me that's looking into a high school age level. You want to prepare these kids for the real world, and I think standardized testing is not an accurate representation of what happens after they leave the confines of high school. It's not an accurate representation of the real world. Expectations aren't the same. So um, doing these types of performance assessments can provide these students with a glimpse into what's going to happen, in their future. What's it going to look like when an employer wants them to work at a group level and hey, you did a great job. I need you to explain this to other people so that they grasp it as well. So by giving these options, it helps prepare them for a better future, and hopefully that provides a better future for us as well, because eventually these kids that we are teaching today are going to be taking care of us when we're a little bit older. So um, the references for this, obviously Fogarty's supported differentiated instruction and professional learning development. I was reading that right here, and other than that, that's pretty much my only one. Did have consult a website as well, the theory of multiple intelligences, pulled from www.spanj.org. That has some good information on it as well. Publications / theory of multiple intelligences. That referenced Gardner as well, and some good information out there. But hopefully this video helps you guys in the lieu of this assignment. Hopefully this video um, conveyed all the things I was trying to get across, and happy Thanksgiving.